right, good evening, everyone. Uh, Double check for the record. Can staff see and hear me?
Yes, Mr. Examiner, we can see and hear you.
All right, then we'll call this meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. This is the June 12th, 2024 meeting of the City of Pasco Hearing Examiner, and my name is Andy Kotkamp, and I've been appointed by the City of Pasco to serve as a land use hearing examiner. My job is to render decisions on various applications that are authorized to come before me, which includes special permits and preliminary plat approvals. That's what we have on the agenda for today. Now, I'll consider any testimony and evidence presented at tonight's hearing, as well as all the written materials that are already on file in order to make my decision. Now, the hearing process does have certain rules. I'll still try to conduct the meeting in a relaxed and informal manner, but we still have a procedure we're going to use. We'll take each item separately, and for each item, staff will present its report and make whatever recommendations that they wish to make. I should note at this point, for all of these items, staff is not providing evidence. Staff is merely an information gatherer, and then they prepare the information that they've gathered into a report. They may or may not make recommendations. The hearing examiner is not bound by any recommendations that may be made by staff. So I want everybody to be clear about the role of staff for each of these items is that of an information gatherer, and then and that would include code provisions and code requirements, making sure that the application is complete before it gets to this process. So anyway, so staff will present their report to make whatever recommendations they wish to make. Then the applicant or the applicant's representative is given an opportunity to present their testimony and evidence. The applicant does have the burden of proof to show compliance with all the applicable rules and regulations. Next, if somebody from the public came to testify on that item, I will give you that chance to do so. And if there is any testimony in opposition to the project, I will give the applicant an opportunity to submit rebuttal testimony. Because the applicant has the burden of proof, the applicant gets the last opportunity to submit testimony and evidence. Now, if you are from the public and you are going to testify, what I'll have you do is come on up to the podium there. We'll take everybody from the public that wishes to testify that has come in person, and then we will move to any testimony online. If you are going to testify, I'll have you state your name and address, and then I'll swear you in as a witness. Because we have a lot of items on today's agenda and a lot of people that wish to speak, public testimony is going to be limited to 3 minutes per person. Mr. Gonzalez will be keeping track of that and will let us know when the 3 minutes for each person is up. If you have already submitted written comments, there's no need for you to now read those written comments into the record. Those are already part of the record. I've already reviewed them. I will review them again. So there's no need to read comments you've already submitted into the record a second time. So with those indications, I should also indicate that this is not a question and answer time. So no questions are going to be allowed of staff, no questions of the hearing examiner, no questions to the applicant. This is a time for you to present your testimony and evidence as to how the project does or does not comply with all the applicable rules and regulations. That's what I'm looking for as far as evidence goes in tonight's hearing. I have the option to keep the record open if I think there's a need for additional written testimony, but in any event, excuse me, for each of these items, my written decision will be made within 10 working days after I close the public record. Except as provided by the Pasco Municipal Code regarding requests for reconsideration, my decision on all of these matters will be final and conclusive unless they are appealed. Appeals by means of a land use petition action, and they have to be filed within 21 days of the date of the issuance of my decision. And if the appeal isn't timely filed, the appeal would be barred. I've reviewed all the items on today's agenda. I don't have any interest in the property or the proposal to be heard, any of the proposals to be heard tonight. I will be able to fairly and objectively consider each item. And outside of receiving and reviewing the staff report for each item, along with all the application materials, the noticing documents, the agency and public comments, there's site plan drawings, there's photographs, other than receiving and reviewing essentially the entire planning staff file for each item, I've not had any communication regarding any item that's on tonight's agenda. So with those representations, if you do have an objection to me serving as the hearing examiner for any of the items on today's agenda, if so, you need to come forward and state so at this time. All right, hearing none and hearing of none, we'll turn to the first item on today's agenda. This is a special permit given application number SP 24-002, which is a application that has been submitted for a full service outpatient behavioral health care clinic to be located within the city of Pasco on property that's more specifically described in the staff report as well as in the application materials. For the record, I will admit into the record at this time by this reference, the staff report, the application materials, the noticing documents, the comments that have come through, site plan drawings. I'll admit all those items. Indeed, I will admit the entire planning staff file into the record at this time by this reference, and turn this matter over to staff for their presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. I'm Jeff Adams, Associate Planner for the City of Pasco, and this is Special Permit SP 2024-002, WCHS Acadia Healthcare, wanting to locate a community service facility level 2 substance abuse treatment center at Suites 103 and 104 of 3130 Varney Lane in an I-1 industrial zoning district. The site is approximately 5.96 acres, and applicant Brian Farley on behalf of WCHS doing business as Acadia Healthcare wishes to use 3,780 square feet of an existing multi-tenant commercial building to operate a full-service outpatient behavioral health care clinic, including the treatment of addiction, rehabilitation, and related office uses, and in those two suites. For the information of our viewing public, notice of the public hearing was sent to property owners within 300 feet of the subject property, and it was posted in the newspaper on May 16, 2024. The site is in the Tri-Cities Airport Business Park. Now I'm going to go back to this original aerial photograph. You can see the runways and that little red dot right there.
Mr. Adams, I need to let you know I cannot see your screen and I cannot see you testifying. I don't know if that's something that can be fixed or not, but I just wanted to let you know that. I can't see your you on the camera, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I think that might be a matter of our technician in the booth there, what he's able to do with that.
If everybody else can see it, I have all the materials. I can be looking at it. Everybody else, Ms. Petrie, you're shaking your head, but you were entitled to get the materials if you wanted them. So let's continue on, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. As you can see on the screen, that red rectangle, that's the location of the proposed use. And if we zoom in a little bit closer, you can see that it's off of West Argent Road and Barney Lane, across from CBC campus. CBC campus is to the south, right here. Applicant intends to do a tenant improvement in an existing building, including counseling rooms, medical offices, examination rooms, clerical offices. No significant exterior or structural modifications are contemplated other than signage. All signage additions or modifications would need to be addressed under a building permit application. Staffing for the clinic would include a medical director, licensed nurses, a clinical director, a clinic supervisor, substance abuse counselors, and support staff. Applicant anticipates having only 5 staff on site at any given time while the clinic is operating, and all clinic employees will be full-time. The anticipated operating hours would be 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Saturdays, and it would be closed on Sundays. Security for the clinic's patients and staff will be provided as needed by applicant. And per the applicant, clinic patients will not be allowed to loiter or congregate outside the clinic building. The proposed clinic would generate 13.95 peak hours traffic peak trips based on Land Use Code 630 of the ITE Trip Generation Manual, 11th edition. Ben Franklin Transit routes 225 and 268 currently serve the site just across the street. They come into Argent Road and then they go down into the campus, and that's where the pickup is. So it's within walking distance of the clinic. Per Pasco Municipal Code 25.15.050, community service facilities level 2 include drug abuse and alcohol treatment centers and other similar uses, which provide social, health, and welfare services for citizens. Per PMC 25.200.020 subsection 4, community service facilities level 2 shall be considered unclassified uses, and per PMC 25.200.010, unclassified uses shall require special review. And this proposed use clearly falls under the definition of community service facilities of the level 2 category, and as such require review via the special permit process. Proposed conditions are as follows. The special permit shall apply to suites 103 and 104 of 3130 Varney Lane in Pasco, Washington, and the special permit shall become null and void if one or more of the following occur on the premise. Number 1, the site becomes a public nuisance as defined in PMC 9.90, or nuisance activities as defined in PMC 9.90 persist at the site. As such, staff recommends, based on the findings of fact and conclusions herein, that a special permit be approved for the location of a community service facility level 2 substance abuse treatment center at this location with the conditions as listed in this report. And that is our report.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adams. And once again, note for Mr. Funfar, I don't see Mr. Adams. I do not see the podium in the hearing room. It appears the camera is not turned on. At least that's what it shows for me. There we go. Okay, well, at least we got the PowerPoint up. So we'll turn to the applicant now. Is the applicant ready to proceed on this matter? Is there a camera on the podium that we can turn on?
Mr. Examiner, can you hear me and see me? My name is Mark.
Just a second, I can only hear you, so I'm going to ask staff to continue to work on that as we go through these hearings.
What?
I'll have you state your name for the record, please.
Yep, I put a tie and a jacket on and everything. Mr. Examiner, my name is Mark Fickus. I'm a shareholder and land use attorney at the Howerson Northwest Law Firm in Yakima. I've been here many times before, as you know. I'm real estate and land use counsel to the applicant, Acadia Healthcare, that's applied for the special use permit tonight. The materials are contained at pages 2 through 48 of your packet, and I'm hoping this is going to be one of your less controversial applications tonight. We've applied for a special property use permit for an outpatient dependency clinic at 3130 Barney Lane. There were no comments during the SEPA review process. A DNS has been issued. The staff recommends approval with commercially reasonable conditions, and the permit meets all approval criteria. I've submitted a legal memorandum that are contained in pages 42 through 48 of the packet, which I hope that you have and have an opportunity to read. It presents a framework I'll go through briefly here in a second on how to review permits for dependency clinics. There are some legal parameters that I think have application. I have here with me tonight two representatives from Acadia Healthcare. I have Mr. Daniel Hymas, a Regional Vice President, and Ashley Yanzik, a Regional Director. They're available here to answer any operational questions or perhaps address any comments, but they probably will not need to speak tonight unless there are some specific operational questions. Based on the application, our position is the SPU should be approved. As Mr. Adams stated in his staff report, community service facilities, level 2 community service facilities are allowed with special use permits in almost all zones, which include the I-1 zone, which this property is located. They're subject to approval with 6 general criteria that the examiner is very familiar with. They're contained at PMC 25-200-080. I don't think I'm going to waste your time to go through how each of the 6 approval criteria applies. I'd like to say that the applicant agrees with the staff's analysis at pages 5 and 6 of the staff report, and I've gone through the application of the general approval criteria at pages 2 and 3 of the legal memorandum that are contained at the end of the packet. So unless the examiner has any questions on how the 6 approval criteria apply, I'll let the examiner review those approval criteria in writing and incorporate those into your written findings and conclusions. I just want to make a few comments on the legal memorandum that you have, Mr. Examiner, at pages 42 through 48 of your packet that I think apply when reviewing special property use permits for community service facility level 2s, especially dependency clinics. The first one I know you're familiar with is that while you said at the beginning of the hearing that it's the applicant's burden to show that approval criteria are met, I probably would agree going forward, but as you know, under the Sunderland Treatment Facility Services case law that was cited in that brief, any opponents would have the burden of showing that the permit fails to meet the conditions if they're based just on community displeasure alone. Sunderland's still a case that is cited in land use law even years after it happened, and it arose here out of Pasco. And then there's 2 other strong federal and state laws that have a strong public policy favoring the approval of dependency clinics, especially those for opioid treatment. And one is and this is all cited in my legal memorandum, is the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act, prohibits local land use decisions that are based on discriminatory actions against protected class, and those suffering from dependency are protected by the ADA. So unsubstantiated fears based on the type of patients that would be applicable would be an inappropriate basis to deny or condition a permit. And even more recently is a new law that I think actually Pasco ended up complying with inadvertently, but under the state's Blake Fix legislation, which was just enacted last year, opioid treatment clinics are to be treated from a land use perspective as essential public facilities under the Growth Management Act. And that's cited at RCW 3670A 200 in parens 1 in parens capital A. So basically, this it should be a non-controversial permit. There are absolutely no land use impacts. The building exists, the parking exists, the infrastructure exists, and the location is ideally suited for our client's proposed use. So we would ask that the staff report and recommendation be accepted and that the permit be approved with reasonable conditions. I do want to ask for one small modification to a condition that Mr. Adams proposed, and I don't think he would have an objection to it, but it's a condition 2, the introduction. He says that the special permit, he puts shall become null and void. That language bothers me as an attorney. It implies that the staff could eliminate a permit unilaterally. I would like it to say, delete the word shall become null and void and put is subject to revocation under PMC 25-200.160. It's in the same statute. There is a permit revocation procedure that the city is mandatorily obligated to go through before unilaterally revoking a permit. So with that small modification, again, I ask that the permit be approved, and I'd be happy to answer any legal questions the examiner might have. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Pickus. I do not have any questions of the applicant. I should note for everybody there, whether I do or do not ask questions is something that you should not really be too concerned about. My job is not to ask questions in order to help a party or to hurt the party. If I have any questions about the project itself, then I can ask questions, but my job is primarily to gather evidence and not to create or develop or attack evidence that's been presented before me. So I just need to have you, everybody be aware of that. I do not have any questions
All right.
for the applicant. Was there anybody else that wishes to speak on behalf of the applicant?
No, I think, Mr. Examiner, that concludes our presentation, although I would reserve some time to speak if there are anybody speaking in opposition. I'd like to be able to address any public comments if they occur. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll turn it over to the public now. Was there any member of the public that wished to testify on this matter? And I can't see the room.
Mr.
Mr.
Examiner,
Adams, so you'll
Mr.
have to let
Examiner,
me
this
know.
is Director Gonzalez. We're still working on getting the video fixed. I do want to inform the general public that the video and camera is working for folks watching this on Pasco TV. We'll continue to try to figure out what the issue is on our end for the camera issue on your end as well, Mr. Examiner. But until that's corrected, we can notify you when we have somebody approaching the podium, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So I take it there's no member of the public in this matter, is that correct? That's there present?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Petrie, who's online, she has her hand up. Did you want to testify? She'll have to be unmuted if she's going to testify. That's something that you have to do on your computer. We can't, oh, there you go. I still can't hear you. You're not muted, but I can't hear you. Is there a way to turn up your microphone? I can't hear you. It doesn't help if I can't hear you.
Mr. Examiner, I believe that Ms. Petrie will be has expressed interest in providing public comment for an item later on tonight's agenda.
Oh. Is that correct? Did you want to testify on the matter we just heard about or something in the future? I'm sorry, I can't hear her. You're going to have to figure out your volume on your microphone, Ms. Petrie. I can't hear you. If you get that figured out and we can hear you in the future, we'll come back to you. All right. No other member of the public to testify on this matter. So what I'm going to do, Mr. Pickus, is I'm going to close the public record portion of the hearing, and I'll have my written decision made within the next 10 working days. We have the second item on today's agenda. This is also a special permit given application number SP 2024-006. And this is an application that has been submitted for a parking lot to be located within the city of Pasco on property that's more specifically described in the staff report as well as in all those application materials. And once again, for the record, I will admit into the record that staff report, those attachments to the staff report, which included all the application materials, the noticing documents, there's photographs, there's maps, there's overhead drawings, there's zoning maps. I'm going to admit all those items. Indeed, I will admit the entire planning staff file into the record at this time by this reference and turn this matter over to staff for their presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Yes, this is application SP standing for Special Permit 2024-006, the Vargas parking lot. The proposal is located on a vacant parcel.
I'm sorry, who's speaking? I can't see you, so who's speaking?
My apologies, this is Andrew Hattori with the City of Pasco.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hattori.
All right. Yes, so the proposal is located on a vacant parcel number 112370186. The property is zoned I1 light industrial, and the site is approximately 0.22 acres in size. The applicant proposes to construct a 24-stall parking lot on an undeveloped parcel. The parking lot would be utilized by an event center approximately 50 feet to the north to provide additional parking facilities. Public notice of this hearing was sent to property owners within 300 feet of the property and posted in the Tri-City Herald on May 29th, 2024. Parking lots are conditional use within the C3 district. I1 allows the same provisions for uses within the C3 district. A special permit has been issued for an event center to the north at 801 South 4th Avenue. The proposed parking lot would service this event center. And the parking lot is subject to review under Pasco Municipal Code and Pasco Construction and Design Standards during the building permit process. The parking lot would have access from South 4th Avenue and the adjacent alleyway to the east. With that said, the staff recommends approval of a special permit for the construction of a parking lot on parcel 112370186 with conditions as listed in the June 12th staff report.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hattori. Is the applicant ready to proceed?
Yes, he is approaching the podium.
All right, when you get there, I'll have you state your name and your address, and then I'm going to swear you in as a witness.
Good evening, Mr. Examiner. This is Jamie Vargas. I live at 4602 South Fisher Place in Kennewick, Washington. And
All right, I'm going to have you raise your right hand for me real quick. And sir, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
I do.
All right, and sir, you're here as an agent authorized to appear and speak on behalf of the applicant and property owner, is that correct?
That is correct.
And have you had a chance to look at the staff report?
I have.
And do you have any objection with any of the representations within the staff report?
No, sir.
And there are some proposed conditions of approval. Do you have any objection with any of those?
No, sir. I agree
Okay.
to all of them.
All right, we'll get that out of the way. Now, what would you like to tell me about this project?
That I'm just going to follow what the city recommended, and I'm just waiting for the building permit so I can beautify that part of the town and make it a nice parking area. So we have the extra parking that it's required for the event center that was approved just, about 50 feet north of that property.
Right. Well, it's, I'm glad we're at this point. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't know what else to add other than that I will do everything that the city requires to do so I can follow all the recommendations and follow the city ordinance and do whatever's necessary to make it happen.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner.
You're welcome. Is there any member of the public that came to testify on this matter?
It does not appear so, Mr. Examiner.
All right, thank you very much. What I'm going to do then, folks, is I'm going to close the public record portion of the hearing on this matter, and I will have a written decision made within the next 10 working days. The next item on today's agenda is also a special permit. It's given application number SP 2024-007. And this is the application that has been submitted by Community Minded Enterprises for development of a level 2 community service facility for behavioral health regarding individuals and families in recovery. This relates to property located within the city of Pasco that is more specifically described in the staff report as well as in all those application materials. Now, for the record, once again, I will admit into the record that staff report, all the application materials, all the noticing documents, all the comments that have come through, all the site plans, I'll admit all those items. Indeed, I will admit the entire planning staff file into the record at this time by this reference and turn this matter over to staff for their presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Yes, this is application SP standing for special permit 2024-007, Community Minded Enterprises. The proposal is located at an existing building with primary addressing of 1919 North 20th Avenue, within the tenant spaces designated as 1923 and 1925 North 20th Avenue. Parcel 113-333-269. And the property is zoned O, office, and the proposed site is approximately 0.78 acres in size. The applicant proposes to use an existing building as a community service level 2 facility as defined in PMC 25.15.050 that can be described as an integrated behavioral health clinic to serve individuals and their families in recovery. Services would include substance use disorder treatment, mental health care, dual diagnosis treatment, medication assisted treatment, peer support services, a recovery cafe, and medical dental care. Behavioral services for children will be offered in a segregated portion of the building with a dedicated entrance, and the applicant has commented they have an approved state of Washington behavioral health license. Public notice of this hearing was sent to property owners within 300 feet of the property and posted in the Tri-City Herald on May 29th, 2024. Community service facilities level 2 are considered an unclassified use, which are listed as conditional uses under the Office Zoning Code section PMC 25.80.040, section 5. A special permit, 40 employees will serve the site. However, some will be on a hybrid schedule with limited office hours. And the site does have sufficient parking facilities, and traffic would be about the same as its current use. The site has access from North 20th Avenue and from an alleyway to the rear east of the property. With that said, staff recommends approval of a special permit for a community service facility level 2 in tenant spaces 1923 and 1925 North 20th Avenue with conditions as listed in the June 12th staff report.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hattori. Is the applicant ready to proceed?
Yes, Mr. Examiner is approaching the podium.
All right, once again, I'll have you come on up and state your name and address, and then I'll swear you in as a witness.
My name is Joe Vella. I'm here to represent Community Minded Enterprises. Address is 2001 North Division, Spokane, Washington.
What was the first name again?
Joe Vella,
Joel?
Joe. Vella, V as in Victor, ELA.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right, I'll have you raise your right hand for me. Sir, do you swear or affirm or depend on the perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
I do.
All right. And Mr. Villa, you are here as an agent authorized to appear and speak on behalf of the applicant and property owner. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And have you had a chance to review the staff report?
I have.
Do you have any objection with any of the representations within the staff report?
No objections.
And have you had a chance to look at those proposed conditions of approval?
I have.
Do you have any objection with any of those?
No objections, sir.
All right, thank you. Now, what would you like to tell me about this project?
Well, first I want to talk a little bit about Community Minded. We've been in existence since 1990. We serve children from 3 to 5. We have contracts with ESD. We also have our offices in Spokane. And here our proposal is to introduce an integrated concept which brings services and wraparound services to people that are suffering from mental health and opiate use. One of our big things that we're doing is a recovery cafe. And what the data shows us here in Tri-Cities is that we lack those recovery support services. So we tend to bring these services here in order to provide not just for adults, but also families, which includes mental health, recovery, substance abuse, SUD, and MAT in the future. And so this program is designed to provide a space, a social space for people to come where they can participate in circles and therapeutic groups. Those circles are led by peer-led folks, and we also offer meals as well. And so this is a safe place for them to come, low barrier, where they can engage and maintain their recovery through engagement, sustained engagement. And that's it.
All right. I understand the project very well. I appreciate your presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Bella. I don't have any further questions for you.
Thank you.
Was there any member of the public that came to testify on this matter?
It does not appear so, Mr. Examiner.
All right, thank you very much. What I'm going to do, Mr. Bella, is I am going to close the public record portion of this hearing, and I will have a written decision made within the next 10 working days. The next item on today's agenda is also a special permit application. This is given application number SP 2024-008. And this is an application that has been submitted for a sports complex, lighting for a sports complex. This relates to property located within the city of Pasco, property that's more specifically described in the staff report as well as in all the application materials. For the record, I'll admit into the record at this time by this reference that staff report, all the attachments to the staff report, which included zoning maps, site plan drawings. There's extensive materials on the lighting that is going to be used. I'll admit all those items. Indeed, I will admit the entire planning staff file into the record at this time by this reference, and give the federal staff for their presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. This is application SP standing for special permit 2024-008, the A Street Sports Complex lighting. The proposal is located adjacent to the easternmost sports field at the A Street Sports Complex, addressed 2200 East A Street, parcel 112-462-024 in Pasco. The property carries a split zoning of C3 General Business District to the north and I-1 Light Industrial District to the south. The proposed site is approximately 13.68 acres in size. The applicant proposes to install lighting facilities adjacent to one of the permitted soccer fields or sports fields to allow its use after dusk. The light poles will be approximately 70 feet tall and will be made of metal. The bulbs will be LED and utilized from dusk up until 11 p.m. as necessary. Public notice of this hearing was sent to property owners within 300 feet of the property and posted in the Tri-City Herald on May 29th, 2024. Special permit for the use of the land as a sports complex was obtained in 2020 under project number SP 2020-010. During the special permit process, it was detailed that lighting was not included in the submittal. Building permit was submitted in April of 2024 to install the lighting under permit number B24-0923, at which time the special permit was required. A total of 4 poles are proposed under this application. The lighting will be precision-directed lighting with glare guards to minimize spill and prevent light trespass onto adjacent properties. The site is currently being developed with parking facilities, a portable restroom enclosure, walking paths, fencing, and 3 sports fields. The site has access from East A Street and South Elm Avenue. With that said, staff recommends approval of a special permit for the construction of LED sport lighting at the A Street Sports Complex located at 2200 East A Street, with conditions as listed in the June 12th staff report.
All right, thank you again, Mr. Torrey, for your presentation. I don't have any questions of staff. Is there somebody from the applicant that wishes to speak tonight?
Yes, sir, he's approaching the podium.
I'll have you state your name and address for me, please.
Brent Kabalik. Address. Personal address or or work address?
No, your work address is just fine.
Okay. City Hall, 525 North 3rd Avenue.
And what I kind of missed your name again. Could you
That's
provide that again a little slower?
Yep. Brent, B-R-E-N-T. Kubalik, K-U-B-A-L-E-K.
All right, sir, I'm going to have you raise your right hand for me. And sir, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And you are here as an agent authorized to appear and speak on behalf of the city of Pasco, I presume.
Yes.
All right, have you had a chance to review the staff report?
Yes, I have.
Do you have any objection with that?
I do not.
And have you had a chance to look at the proposed conditions?
Yes, I have.
Do you have any objection with any of those?
I do not.
All right. So what would you like to tell me about this project then?
Not much more than what's included there in the packet, but just that the sports fields, the three sports fields are already constructed, as shown there in the field, and this would add lighting to the main field, which is the easternmost field at the property, and just allow for better and extended use and enjoyment by the community, and that we have selected the lights that we have due to their precision lighting and being able to minimize any spillage into any adjacent properties. So. That is all.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in tonight. I don't have any questions for the applicant on this matter. Was there any member of the public that came to speak on this matter?
It does not appear so, Mr. Examiner.
All right, thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the public record portion of the hearing on this matter, and I will have my written decision made within the next 10 working days. We are now to the last item on today's agenda. This is the preliminary plat request, given application number PP 2024-002. This is a request for a preliminary plat approval for a 20-lot subdivision proposed on 3.34 acres. This is on property located within the city of Pasco that is more specifically described in the staff report as well as in all those application materials. Now, for the record, I'm going to admit into the record at this time by this reference the staff report, the application materials, the noticing documents, the agency comments, the extensive public comments that were submitted prior to the hearing, or prior to today, yesterday and today. I'm going to go through some new public comments that were not part of the packet. There are site plan drawings, there's zoning maps, area maps, photographs. I'm going to admit all those items into the record at this time by this reference. And then I've received 19 other emails, and I'm going to go through them briefly, and just to state who they came from so that everybody knows that I've received those emails that were sent during the last couple of days. Number 1, Karen Keith. Number 2, Asal and Maria Campos. Number 3, David Murphy. Number 4, David Witt. Number 5, Robert and Tamara Bernard. Number 6, Shirley and Cliff Nelson. Number 7, John Michael and Melissa Wald. 8, Darwin and Vicky Westland. 9 was Sydney Albano. 10 was Carl Enderlin. 11, Ben and Karen Keith. 12, Lori Passmore. 13, Sandra Lott. 14, Joseph and Patoma Mendez. 15, another comment from Carl Enderlin. 16, another comment from David Witt. 17, Jenny Teagues with photographs. 18, Heidi Witt with photographs. There's 3 of those. And 19, Kathy and Billy Witt. So those are the comments that were not part of the hearing, the packet for the hearing examiner. There were many other comments that were part of that packet that I'm not going to identify individually, but all of these comments are admitted into the record at this time by this reference. And we'll turn this matter over to staff for their presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. This is application PP, standing for preliminary plat 2024.
And who's speaking, just so I know?
Oh, it's Andrew Hattori with the City of Pasco.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hattori.
So application PP 2024-002, the Guardian's Nest subdivision. The proposal is located at 916 Road 56 on the northwest corner of Road 56 and Castle Holly Court, parcel 119631060 in Pasco. The property is zoned R1, low density residential, and is approximately 3.34 acres in size. The applicant wishes to subdivide a single parcel into 20 individual parcels and construct or expand roadways with associated improvements. Public notice of this hearing was sent to property owners within 300 feet of the property and posted in the Tri-City Herald on May 29th, 2024. The site was rezoned in 2024 under Ordinance 4713 from RS20 residential suburban to R1 low density residential. The underlying future land use designation for the site and all surrounding properties is low density residential, which allows these lands to be developed with a variety of residential housing at a density of 3 to 6 dwelling units per acre. Given the size of the lot and maximum number of dwellings permitted on site, that is 20 units. The applicant is proposing 20 lots, so if each lot is developed, that is 1 unit per lot. The proposal contains a mixture of lot sizes. Some lots will be required to be developed with single-family attached housing, such as zero lot line or row housing. And I'd like to take a moment to discuss a proposal or a proposed condition for the project, and that is that the shared property line between lots 9, 10, 17, and 18 to be required to be shifted to the west to accommodate increasing lot sizes of lots 10 through 12 and 15 and 17 to a minimum of 3,500 square feet to accommodate that single family attached housing lot size requirement.
Is that already part? I don't have the proposed conditions memorized. Is that already a proposed condition?
It is not included in the staff report.
All right. Can you provide your proposed condition to me so I can consider it? Make sure that I'm looking at what the wording is you're trying to propose.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Go ahead.
The site is currently developed with an existing dwelling. This dwelling will remain while the accessory structures are proposed to be demolished. The project will involve completing right-of-way improvements to finish Castle Holly Court and Margaret Street and develop a new road connection between the two roads as noted as North Road 57 on the plat. Lots 1 and 6 will be accessed via an access easement using the provisions detailed in PMC 21.20.060 relating to lots without public street frontage. Per the Institute of Transportation Engineers, commonly referred to as ITE, Manual Land Use Code 215 related to attached single-family dwellings states that each dwelling produces 0.57 p.m. peak hour trips, and Land Use Code 210 relating to single-family detached housing details dwellings produce 0.94 p.m. peak hour trips. Based on lot size, a minimum of 12 lots will be required to be single-family attached housing. Taking the highest traffic calculation into consideration, the peak hour trips produced by the development would be 14.36 p.m. peak hour trips. Should very minor adjustments to lot lines change the size of the smaller lots and single-family detached housing be developed on all lots, the traffic generated would be 18.8 p.m. peak hour trips. Traffic, park, and school impact fees will be collected for each lot at issuance of occupancy at the latest per dwelling. With that said, staff recommends approval of a 20-lot preliminary plat located at 916 Road 56, parcel 119631060 with conditions and as designed in the June 12th staff report.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hattori. Is the applicant ready to proceed?
Yes. Applicant is approaching the podium.
Hello, Mr. Examiner. This is Juan Ochoa with Skills Construction and Development.
Just a second here.
Sure.
All right, Mr. Ochoa, I'll have you raise your right hand for me, please. And sir, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, Mr. Ochoa, are you here as an agent authorized to appear and speak on behalf of the property owner and applicant?
Yes.
All right, have you had a chance to look at the staff report?
Yes, I have.
Do you have any disagreement with any of the representations within the staff report?
No.
And have you had a chance to look at the proposed conditions of approval?
Yes, I have.
Any objection to any of those?
No. No.
All right, Mr. Ochoa, what would you like to tell me about this project?
Well, first of all, this project started last year, and with the intent of doing, half-acre lots on on this project. It was zoned for RS20, so doing the half-acre lots was the ideal option for me when I bought this property. We proposed the 6 lots and 6 half-acre lots, and the backside was going to be about three-quarter acre lot. And that was turned down from the city. It wasn't taken in. I couldn't get that approved, basically.
Hey,
There's a,
hey, if the public needs to be respectful and not be shouting questions. If that continues, I will take further action. Mr. Ochoa.
Sure. And I can't answer for the city, but I do remember being something about density and having three lots per acre, so it wasn't going to meet the new requirements. I believe that was the thought behind that. So essentially, we proposed 9 lots, and essentially the deal breaker on this project is West Margaret Street, which is a city-owned easement. It's on that north side of the property. The intention was not to develop that road. It's a gravel road that leads to someone's backyard, essentially. Doesn't go really anywhere. So, and afterwards, after going through a couple of loopholes and trying to figure out what we can and cannot build and whether that road was supposed to be built or not, it turns out I do have to provide that road, which is West Margaret Street. And that dives down into north of Road 57, which ties into Castle Holly. With that excessive infrastructure that I had to bring in, roadway, sewer, electrical, all the fun jazz, sidewalk, curb and gutter, the 11 lots, 11 single homes was not feasible anymore. There wasn't enough, there was too much infrastructure there for those 11 houses to produce any type of profit on this project. So the next best thing was to bring in the townhouses, which are still gonna be nice townhouses. They're 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. They're gonna be, stuck on the outside. They're gonna be nice homes, and that fit the description. And I think that's the better option for this property at this point. And that takes care of some of the extra cost for that roadway of Margaret Street. So essentially this is what we're proposing, and this feats this complies with the city requirements. The zoning got rezoned for R1, so that complies with all the requirements for R1. So,
Mr. Ochoa, anything else you'd like to add?
I know there's some concerns off of the Road 56 that I'm aware of. It is a narrow road, so we're starting off at my property, and then there's been a couple of properties that already have the road expanded, widened, and then soon hopefully will be my road, my side of the lot. The most narrow spot is between Henry and Mary Road. I think mainly it's got to do with the trees that are right on the side of the roadway that are causing the more congestion in that little section there. So overall, I think we do want to ask the city if we're allowed to do a LID, local improvement district, for petition on that road. Whether it's going to be accepted or not, I don't know. But it's something I would like the city to consider for that road. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to say.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ochoa.
Thank you.
Okay, we will turn this over to the public now. I assume that there are people that wish to testify on this matter. I'll have you coming up to the podium one at a time. I'll have you state your name and your address. I'll then ask you, what do you want to tell me about this? As I indicated before, you have a 3-minute time limit for your testimony, and there are no questions. And I would ask everybody to maintain the proper decorum for this hearing. So if somebody wishes to testify, you can come on up to the podium.
All right, we have someone coming to the podium.
Do I say my name? David Witt.
Yes,
David Witt, 1015 North Road 56, Pasco, Washington.
all right, Mr. Witt, I'm going to have you raise your right hand. Sir, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And sir, what would you like to tell me?
I'm gonna actually start with the zoning, and I think it tells a story that the letter sent out to our neighbors. We believe in development and appropriate development, but the letter that was sent out to neighbors said RS20 to R1 low density residential, and it doesn't explain what the new low density residential actually is, which is 3 to 6 lots per acre. There's new development to the south of us where lots are at 0.3 acres, and I cannot find anywhere in Pasco in the donut hole where the same type of development has been built on such small lots. Now, I understand that there is a new law in Washington. However, there's a reason I moved here. I could have bought a new house, and I bought an existing house on a development that's been built for over 50 years, and making improvements on that property to live a quiet lifestyle. 11 people were noticed out of the 33 people on Road 56. They're going to be dealing with the traffic. Not only that, adding 40 cars and 20 homes, you're increasing the traffic of our road by 2/3 of traffic. Our street is narrow. It's 16 feet wide. Kids have 2 bus stops, one across from my house on Road 56. They have to walk to it in the dark in the middle of the school year on one of the narrowest roads in Pasco, Washington. We are a through street that already deals with 40-mile-an-hour drivers going through to get to Court Street. They call Sylvester an arterial road, but at our area where Sylvester ties into the block, it is 2 lanes wide, not 4 lanes wide like the traffic maps of Pasco, Washington State. On top of that, I don't know where kids are going to play on this plat. They're going to play in the most narrow road in Pasco. So I would recommend that there's a condition added that you're going to widen the length of Road 56 with sidewalks, bury the electrical, a crosswalk with lights, heading over to Wade Park, and for kids to get across safely, because there's a bend there on Sylvester they don't tell you about too, where people speed around there. And really what I never would have thought is that in 1 year of a purchase of a single family residence in our neighborhood, that something like this could be developed. We don't buy there in existing neighborhoods of over 50 years for these types of reasons. And I think really we should protect the people of Pasco, Washington, and the lifestyle that they've made in this area, because I think it's important. I'm a teacher, and I teach kids about government, and I feel like 300 foot of notice is not sufficient for lots. One person down the street didn't even get notice of, he lives 3 houses down from the property, and he never received notice. Because R20 designation, 300 feet is not sufficient. And that's all I have to say today.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Witt.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to testify?
Yes, Mr. Examiner, they're approaching the podium.
Good evening. My name is Mary Perrette. I'm a resident at 1213 Road 56.
And what's your last name again, ma'am?
Perrette, P-E-R-E-T.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to have you raise your right hand for me, and do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. And what would you like to tell me?
Thank you, sir. I've been a resident at 1213 Road 56 for 17 years. I have an acre and a half on the corner of Road 56 and Marie. This proposed project effectively doubles the number of residents accessing our small 16-foot road in a 4-block stretch between Sylvester and Court Street without the ability or existing infrastructure to accommodate the increase in vehicle and pedestrian traffic. Many of our residents and residents of neighboring neighborhoods walk, jog, ride their bicycles, push their strollers up and down Road 56. A section in front of my house, I'm off of Marie, and between Henry, cars have to stop to allow oncoming cars to pass. Children are getting off their bus in front of my mailbox. They're walking 2 to 3 blocks to their homes. In the winter, in the dark. This development is going to have a significant negative impact on not just our quality of life in our neighborhood, our home values, and our ability to enjoy the neighborhood that we've lived in for a long time. My home was built in 1965. It's been there for as many years as I have. We were born the same year. Our neighborhood is home to nesting bald eagles. There's a pair of bald eagles nesting in the tree on Carl Enderlin's property across the street from my home. I watch them every day. We have owls, we have foxes, as well as migratory geese and ducks that use the spaces in between our homes as a place to stop and rest and refuel on their path to where they're going. As a long-term resident of this neighborhood, I am absolutely opposed to this density caused by this proposed plan. I'm also concerned about the lack of notice to the residents in our neighborhood. I understand that there's a 300-foot requirement, and that was met, and that there was a notice placed in the Tri-City Herald. But it seems to me that as a long-term resident of this neighborhood, that a good faith effort should have been made to those of us who will be significantly impacted should this proposed plan be approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Another member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hello, my name is Salvador Barajas, and my address is 1020 North Road 56. I hear...
Just a second. All right, I'm going to have you raise your right hand for me, and do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. What would you like to tell me?
So I hear that the easement that is on the north part of the address where they're trying to do this development is the city owns that stuff. It is not true. That is, I own the easement. So I don't know how they're planning to put a road through there. that easement is for my neighbor to go to get back to his house, but it's not the city's property. So they need to check that out. You know, like the other people that came over here and talked when we move into this property, the reason why we move in there is because how peaceful it is. You know, we don't have to worry about our kids, you know, walking through the street and stuff like that. Right now, it's getting a lot more traffic from all the development that is up on North Road 56. They're always traveling to go to Sylvester Street because there's no lights, there's nothing, so a lot of people like to drive really fast to get to Sylvester Street. So, you know, we would like for you guys to take in consideration all these problems that is going to bring to us. He mentioned something about the trees, that the street is narrow because of the trees. That is one of the most beautiful parts of the Road 56. That everybody takes care, everybody cares about the trees, everybody cares about their properties. So if we're gonna start cutting up the trees just to expand the road to fit this other amount of people, I don't think that is right. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did anybody else wish to testify?
Yes, Mr. Examiner, a member of the public is approaching the podium.
Yes, this is Sidney Albano. I live at 818 Road 57 Court in Pasco here.
All
Albano.
right, let me, just a second here. All right, sir, I'll have you raise your right hand for me, and
Yep.
do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
I certainly do.
All right, thank you very much. Sir, what would you like to tell me?
Okay, in the fall, you know, you guys made a redesignation and it kind of went off what the state did. And you guys went to that 3-6 window. And they were kind of like saying, go 3 to 6 homes to an acre. Well, what we're doing here, we got an existing lot that's oversized. You got a bunch of them that are even like 40 by 72, 74, somewhere in that neighborhood. You're going to take 2 of those and put them together and build a row house out of 8 of them. And that's the plan. And then you got neighbors across the street that got $1 million home. The lots are specific ones that live right behind me. And you're going to take their home value and just decimate it. I mean, and there's a couple other homes on that street on Castle Holly that were built there in the last few years. And you're decimating these people's home values because you're going to put a row house across the street that barely fits the lot. That decimates values. In your guys' codes here in town, it says you're supposed to enhance the community. This isn't enhancing any community. This is tearing it down. And this is what you're doing. And I'm against it. There's some flaws in this whole proposal. Like you look over here on the left on the road on lot number 1 and I believe it's 6. There's supposed to be a hammerhead there for fire truck turnaround. That hasn't even been taken away from the lot sizes. So that even further takes it away. And that's violating fire code if you guys go with this proposal. Because we had to do that on Joel's edition. Every lot has a hammerhead. So I don't know why this one doesn't have one, but it's a flawed design. But I'm just me looking at a flawed design. And, you know, just the Road 56 thing that they brought up, you know, I have to pull over and let a car by. And on the weekend, there was a guy parked on the street, and I had to stop to let the oncoming car go by. And, you know, you're going to add another 20 homes with maybe 2 cars to a lot. You're going to have townhouses with people parking on the street. They're on lots, have to come into their nice home, and they got to drive down the street full of cars parked on the street. They have peace and quiet right now. This further attests to the fact this is tearing down the community instead of helping the community, like you guys are supposed to be looking out for us, not taking away from us. And there was another thing I had to say. I'm within that radius that's supposed to be notified. I had to find out from my next door neighbor, and I'm within the 300 feet. And I was never told about this all happening. Last fall, when you guys rezoned, I wasn't told. This spring, when this all came up, this new preliminary plat, I wasn't told about it. You guys, you're not following the law. The law says you gotta tell people, and that's not what you're doing. And that's not right. And I don't care if you got a Tri-City Herald, nobody reads it anymore because it's online. Who the heck takes it? So if you guys post something online, it's a total joke, and I don't even think 5% of the town takes it anymore. So this is a joke. Not notifying people. The process is totally flawed, and that's all I got to say.
All right, thank you very much.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hi, my name is Carlos Quiros. I live on Road 56, 812, Road 56. I don't have much to say about.
Just a second,
Okay.
a second. I
Okay.
did not understand your name. Can you spell your first name?
First name Carlos, Carlos.
And your last name?
Last name Quiros, Quiroz.
All right, there we go. Would you raise your right hand for me? Sir, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, sir, what would you like to tell me?
Well, I'm not too familiar about constructions. I was not notified about this until not too long ago. It might have been about 2 weeks ago, maybe, or so, just by my friendly neighbor, just making awareness of whatever was going on, which it just caught us by surprise. And now I'm not one of those people that will send you an email. That's why I'm here, just to put my 2 pennies in. I understand that there is an empty road that needs to be developed. Yes, I get that. I have a picture of that road in December and later in the spring when with all the flowers, and you can see the change of the weather system with the trees around, and that's actually one of those cool places that I've been. I came from here in Pasco by the movie theater, where it was kind of chaotic. Then I came to this place a couple of years ago where everything is like so peaceful that I feel that I'm in another state. How peaceful that place is. I cannot tell the difference of somebody that has been living there for 17 years. I'm sure I added to the traffic, and I'm sorry about my neighbors, but yeah, just looking at a lot with 20 homes. Yeah, I'm looking at 40 cars, and I get that they need to do some development there, but maybe 10 homes compared to 20, that might be, I don't know, reasonable. That's my only input there. And I get everybody has a point here to make, but this is all I can tell you. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, a member of the public is approaching the podium.
Gene Tyssen is my name. The last name is spelled Tyssen. Looks like Tyson, but it's Tyssen.
What was your first name?
Gene. The male spelling.
Can I have you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be true?
I do. And I can't
All
cross
right.
my fingers, so. I've been
What do you want to say?
we live at 5413 West Brown. We've lived there for 46 years. It's been a very beautiful place to live. We walk down to the river and walk on Road 56, and it's a nice, quiet walk. I'm here basically because I think of the story of mice and men, plans of mice and men. And I'm wondering, I don't know the planning process, and I'm here because I don't trust the planning process because of Road 68 and Road 100, what's happened out there. And so I'm here basically to state my questions about it. Now, I know you're not answering tonight, but I want to do some gathering of information. I want to know if all these things that are planned under some big scheme, or if they're just silos. Is Sylvester restructuring of Sylvester a silo? Is the roundabout at Road 68 and Court a silo? Is Road 56 and its size and stuff a silo that none of this interacts? Has this all been planned prior, or is it just because somebody happens to come up with an idea that they think they can make some money on? I'm not asking for any answers from you people. I'm going to have to check that out myself. But I hope that I'll find that there is some legitimate planning that has been done that fits this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you ready, Mr. Hearing Examiner?
Yes, can you state your name and address?
Yes, Cliff Nelson, common spelling, 5413 West Marie Street. I agree with what everyone is
Can I have
saying
you
here.
raise your right hand for me, please?
Sorry, sir.
Sir, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
Yes.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
I would like to state that I agree with everything that's been said so far, but I want to go back to a little history. When the donut hole was an issue, we were receiving different information from the city that they were going to respect the rural area. And what was given to us at the time was they were looking at generally a half-acre lot per resident with maybe some slightly smaller. And these are not within what was talked to us when we voted for annexation.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
And your name and address, please?
First name Chloe, Chloe. Last name Greer, Greer. And I live at 1015 Road 56, Pasco, Washington.
All right, thank you. I'll have you raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. What would you like to tell me?
I would like to tell you about all the beautiful drives and walks that we have, but I know that that is not going to make a difference in your decision. I would like to go back to the safety proportion of all of this. And since the city of Pasco did not approve the half acre and the 0.34, I think is what he said, acre lots prior to this, and then approved this layout, just shows that Pasco, the city of Pasco, will not protect us and protect our area from the traffic that this is going to induce. We have two actual we have two actual street lights on the, I think it's two, by the brand new houses that they have developed. Other than that, we have a kind of bright light. Other than that, there's no lighting besides house lights. We have children walking to the bus stop in the wintertime when there's ice and snow on the road. And we have traffic that is zooming through our area on a 16-foot wide road with two cars going at the same speed. One has to stop. The safety of our children and anyone that is out on the road, families, people going for walks, dogs, cats, is at stake with putting in this development near our street. And I just want to say I agree with what everyone has to say about the beauty and everything, but ultimately I think it comes back to safety and the width of our street and the ability to handle this many people and this many cars is just not there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
My first name is Aidan, Aidan, last name Roberts, and I live at 1004 Road 55. And I'm just gonna make this brief.
Well, I still gotta put you under oath. Sir, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Roberts, what do you want to tell me?
Actually, I just like to say that I have to walk down Road 56 every day to head to my bus stop. And to be honest, I'm just gonna make this brief. The whole idea of like adding more houses is just, how should I put it, idiotic, because more houses equals more cars, which means more traffic, and it kind of just doubles the danger. And I have to walk down that road every single day just to head to my bus stop. I walk there in the dark, during the rain, as well as during winter. And besides, whenever I do walk down the road, I have to like lean up against the trees or something just to avoid a car coming down the road. And it's not just my life that's in danger, it'll be other students heading to their bus stops, as well as people who just want to walk down the road just for a walk, or possibly walk their dog. And well, I think I've pretty much said it all. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Roberts.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hello, Mr. Examiner. My name is Brett Lott. My address is 5710 Castle Holly Court, Pasco.
What's your last name again, sir?
Lott, L-O-T-T.
All right, Mr. Lott, I'll have you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you, sir. What do you want to tell me?
Okay, I'd like to start out with, so I have a lot of respect for Mr. Ochoa wanting to develop the land. I also took interest in this piece of property to develop myself. I'm a home builder, residential home builder, some commercial, for the last 33 years. So I'm very familiar. I build residential homes. I build townhomes. So I actually had an application meeting with the city of Pasco, which contained planning department, the building department, city engineer, etc. And in that meeting, they also told me the same thing. I think that probably Mr. Ochoa ran across it, that it wasn't developable for half-acre lots. One of the things that they told me was that that I should consider going to an R1 zoning, and I go, well, if I go to an R1 zoning, is that likely for me to be able to do that? And they said, yeah, probably wouldn't pass. So I was deterred from that at that time. One of the issues that we ran across with R20 zone is the existing house is very close to the right-of-way. And under an R20 zoning, it wouldn't allow that, but an R1 zoning kind of negates that setback to the right-of-way. So now that existing house at 23 and a half feet, probably within a few inches maybe, will meet that designation. I understand the need and the role of developing properties and adding some more homes, and obviously I'm in that business too, so I get that. Is what my concern is how the city can protect the landowners in the process of doing that. So it's one thing to take new homes, put new homes in an area that kind of fit the area, and so there's a recent development that's a couple hundred yards south of this. It's called Joel's Addition, and they went in and put, I think, 16 homes on 5 acres, and individual single-family residents. And so it makes a little more than what's in the area, but it's still kind of fitting the area. And then all the homes dump onto Sylvester Street, so they're kind of on a main arterial and not necessarily on a skinnier road like Road 56. Which I will admit, I almost hit someone on Road 56 at night, one night, that was walking in the road and it's dark and you can't see him. So, I own the properties to the south of this, and one of the properties was my personal house. The other property is a half-acre lot that I have held back in development. And I recently bought some half-acre lots in North Pasco to build homes on. We're currently building some homes on there. And those half-acre lots, I paid $235,000 for, which is hard to choke, but That's the reality of the market right now. I also am building some townhomes in Richland, so I understand the townhome market. I understand the difference in values and what those homes are worth with zero lot lines as opposed to single-family residence on a single lot that has a minimum of at least a 5-foot, but hopefully a 10-foot setback on the side property lines. And those home values are reduced anywhere from 10 to 20% of what market value of a single-family home is. And I've got one of those townhomes that's been sitting for a
The
period of
3
time.
minutes has expired. My apologies. I just wanted to notify the examiner that 3 minutes has expired.
Okay, so I'll just end with saying that it does definitely affects the values. And that lot now that I have that is probably worth at least 200,000. I don't even know if I could build a home on it. It would be sellable at this point. So I'm just asking you to protect the citizens and look at a different plat map in some way that will less homes on more property to help protect us. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wishes to testify?
Yes. Carl Enderlin, 1124 Road 56, Pasco.
All right, just a second here. All right, sir, I'll have you raise your right hand for me. And do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, sir, what would you like to tell me?
I'd like to, points that I'm going to hit is talking about what appears to be the motivation for this on HB 11, House Bill 1110. Make sure, since I'm not sure that you've been to the area, paint a picture of some additional issues that, or features that have not been talked about. In case I run out of time, talk about, because this sounds like it may be a foredone conclusion, some conditions that should go along if this were approved. I want to start by saying I'm highly disappointed after the zoning to hear that Mr. Cho was turned down on lower density. HB 110 was done by the legislature in order to increase middle housing, but we seem to be going against the Urban Growth Management Act and the urban plan, which I worked on in the past prior to the donut hole with the county, or for the city, which was for the annexation of it. And one of the issues there was it should not neglect housing elements, that the Growth Management Act maintain a comprehensive plan that ensures vitality and character of established residential neighborhood. That's quoted from HB 1110. So in this, no one is trying to keep from having development that could be done at a lower density. It would meet the needs of HB 1110. One of the issues comes up is if we go to this high density, the word's going to be out that you want to avoid all increase to RS1 if this is going to happen. We've learned from the Planning Commission that if this fails, there could be a 20 unit apartment building put in there. And that makes issues with the with housing values. One of the conditions there that we have is on Road 54, where Sylvester ends to 4, we've got the parking lot, and a boat ramp. So that adds to our traffic, which we're happy to from the standpoint of the features in the neighborhood. But with that, we get 4th of July, we get boat races. So that allows and creates additional traffic burden, not just between Sylvester and Court, but all the way up to Argent. The traffic patterns of people and pedestrians coming down also use Road 56 from the new neighborhoods that are on the opposite side of Court Street. Conditions, if this were to go through, to me would be widening of Road 56 between Court and Sylvester, widening of Sylvester from Road 56 to the 4-lane Sylvester, and connecting with the sidewalk infrastructure that's been put on Sylvester, and that would include sidewalks along Road 56, pedestrian crossing from north side of Sylvester to south side of Sylvester at Road 54, and again, playground. Playground could be part of this establishment here if area was designated, or there is undeveloped park property at the end of Road 56. Again, I want to reiterate that when we went from the county to the city, which is inevitable, one of the things of annexation was to maintain the character of the neighborhoods. This does not do that. Additional issues we have again are the traffic. It is a 16-foot pavement. Originally it was 17, but when the infrastructure for the water was done, the paving contract was skimped and they didn't have enough pavement to go over. So we already have lips on the edge of the road. Widening the road just down to Sylvester is not the main traffic pattern out of this area. Most people are going to be heading to the freeway. They're going to be heading north. Again, I want to reiterate that includes not just Court, but going from Court up till Argent. I think that's most of the issues we had there. Other than been in the neighborhood for 33 years and have seen some lots split and have not seen an issue with the housing in the past because it maintained the character. The issue of signage and notification of this, looked online in several places. I can't even make out anything online electronically to be able to read that plot plan. So as a separate issue, we will be looking to change the ordinance relative to notification. But this is something we're proud of and want to do with the Planning Commission working with the committee. It seems like signage should have been up, and this shouldn't be something we're finding by word of mouth 48 hours before we're able to put in the June 7th. I do appreciate you taking input past the June 7th point. That's much appreciated. Thank you very much.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Are you ready?
Yeah, your name and address, please.
My name is Justin Rowland, Rolland as in Dodge. My address is 1904 Road 64 in Pasco, Washington.
I just want to make sure I got the last name right. Roland, Rolland.
That is correct.
All right. Raise your right hand for me, and sir, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
I do.
All right. Sir, what would you like to tell me?
Mine kind of echoes what the last two gentlemen have spoke about. Again, I live just northwest of this proposed plot on 64. Our Riverview area is underdeveloped. Roads don't have sidewalks, no shoulders, kids are walking, everything like that. Adding this is going to approving this would set a precedent across the donut hole, across our Riverview area, allowing these smaller homes in and around us. We all know that we have people with property that may jump on this opportunity. It's horrible. It's a bad decision. Added traffic, the added cars, just speed, officers, everything else that we would need. A little nervous. I'm not real big in public speaking, but it's been said, it drives down our home values. These houses are much smaller. I don't want to take away from that, but they're much smaller, which then drives down, and then to purchase or go somewhere else is just as expensive, if not even more, than what some of us have purchased. I purchased my place in 2018. 3/4 of an acre. Everybody around me is acre to 3 acres to as small as half acre, which I believe is a halfway decent size for a property. My biggest thing is the precedents that it would set. The infrastructure just isn't there in that area, with our roads, our water, septics. Like, I'm still on septic. You haven't even brought city sewer down that far. A non-pressurized irrigation. Everybody else is pressurized. So approving this would just set a precedent that would just rain through all of that area, and anybody with a lot could just start throwing up these small residential home plots. That's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
And let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, your name and address, please.
Yes, I'm David Gonzalez. I'm at 8409 Clark Street in Pasco.
All right, I'll have you raise your right hand for me. Sir, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you very much. And what would you like to tell me?
Okay, so my comments won't make me popular here in this room, but I will say that I am in favor of Mr. Ochoa's plan. I've been in real estate for about 10 years now. I know he has been as well. Just a little bit about his plan. He wants to build quality homes, stucco exterior. You know, inside you're going to see quartz countertops, 12 vaulted ceilings. They're going to be nice homes, so they're not going to be cookie cutter. You know, something simple. He does good work. This won't be his first project. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we do have a huge shortage of housing in the U.S. I mean, it's everywhere. If you look just on the news, it's there. NPR has rated up to 7 million homes of shortage in the U.S. So that's quite a lot. Here locally in Benton County, we're about 6,329 homes short. And just more on our backyard on Franklin County, we have 2,359 homes. This was pulled from the Building Industry Association of Washington. It's online. I got the numbers from there. So what happens is when we have a shortage of housing, it's all about supply and demand, right? The less homes we have, the higher the demand. And then actually it increases values too. So it's just not the fact that prices go down. Really, the law of economics say that the more demand you have, the less supply you have, that increases prices. So it's a double-edged sword. It's just not all bad. You know, obviously there is good in here. Approving this would definitely help the cause of having a shortage of homes, not only in the U.S., but here locally in Benton County and Franklin County as well. So those are my comments.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hi, my name is Maria Campos. I live at 1012 Road 56.
All right, I'll have you raise your right hand for me. And do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. What would you like to tell me?
Well, I just want to second just about everything everybody said except this last gentleman. And I want to make it kind of short. But my husband and I bought that lot back in 1999. We used to live here close to this area. When we bought it, that was supposed to be the country, and that's what we were looking for. When we bought that lot, they never told us that they planned on taking part of the easement that belongs to our lot. All we were told, we were supposed to leave an easement part so the people that bought the second lot behind us would have access to their home. Now it seems like the city wants to widen that road and make it a Market Street and take part of that from there. The other part is we built our home back in 2002, and that has been our home where we raised our kids and everything. And that peaceful neighborhood seems to be threatened now by this expanded construction. I guess one thing I would ask is, for the city to revisit the previous proposal and maybe a suggestion, make homes similar to the ones that were made on Road 57 in Sylvester. The other thing is that one of my concerns, and one of the biggest concerns, is that my home is right on north of where the plan is to make those little townhouses. And my well water is right there. My well is right on the corner. With the increased traffic and everything, I am concerned that it's going to negatively impact my well. And who would be responsible for making any, or in reparations to that. Also, early in the morning when I get up, go to work, a lot of kids walk through there. There's been times where I've had to hit the brakes because it's very, very hard to see those kids at night, especially during the winter when there's hardly any lighting there. One last thing, this gentleman just the left said that there was shortage of homes nationwide. There have been many apartments made like on Road 68 in Argent. They've been empty for a whole bunch of months. On Road 68, there's also some townhouses there, and many have been empty for a while also. So there's a lot of places, that people are not, when he talks about shortage, there is plenty of homes there. And I'll just go ahead and end this because I'm running out of things to say. Just please consider not build those homes or that many homes so close to our properties, which it will decrease not just the value, but also with the increased traffic, make it a hazard for our kids around that neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
I'm ready.
Your name and address?
Sandra Lott, 5710 Castle Holly Court.
All right, I'll have you raise your right hand. And do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
It's truth in my opinion.
Well, are you going to testify as to facts or just
Yes.
your opinion?
Yes.
I don't know what you're testifying to. Are you going to state facts or are you just going to state your opinion?
I'll state facts.
All right. Well, you're under oath then. What would you like to tell me?
Okay, first thing, just because it meets the criteria doesn't make it the right thing to do. So those in proximity to the townhomes will lose money when they go to resell their home. The reason being, townhomes devalue anything they're by. I'm sorry, we know this because we're contractors by trade, and right now we're building in the Richland area. We purchased several lots a while back, and then the developer came in and put high-density housing behind our property. Because of the high-density housing, we have had to sell all but one property at a loss, and we are unable to sell the remaining properties. All property owners will take a very large hit when they try to sell their property, and I'm not just talking $5,000 or $10,000. They'll lose maybe $50,000 or more when they go to sell because townhomes just have a bad connotation about them. The next thing is, besides the high traffic and the hazard that it would create, nobody says that they're only going to have 2 vehicles. Some of these townhomes might have 4 vehicles. Where are they going to park them? There's just not, I mean, if you go out north Pasco in some of the high density housing, the streets are lined with cars. And so I just hate to see that in our quiet community. This area used to be what was called the donut hole, which has been mentioned. When this area was annexed into the city, promises were made that nothing would change. Those that made the promises have since retired and new people have been hired on. No one at the city seems to remember that promises were made to the people that are living in this area. They were lied to so that the city could have the annexing and what they wanted. Now the city has new ordinances, and once again, the people in this area are being forced into something that they do not want. What the city is proposing may be legal, but it is not ethical. A few people in city planning have decided to make changes that will affect hundreds of people and take away what we bought and paid for, a rural living lifestyle. You're stealing money out of our pockets, and I would bet that if any of you lived in the area that we live in, you would vote against it. If you have the best interest of Pasco and the people that live in this area, then you would not approve this plat. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hi, my name is Celeste Carlson Stanley. I am an address confidentiality participant, but if it's okay, I
Well, then
will
let
give
me
out my
put you under
address.
oath. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
I do.
All right, what would you like to tell me?
Would you like my address or to keep it confidential?
If you don't want to give it, I'm not, you just won't get any notices. So if you don't want to give your address, that's just fine. What would you like to tell me?
I do think it's important. It is 2800 North Road 56, Pasco, and I've lived there pretty much 40 years. I'm 40 years old. My parents built the house in about 1987, and they both have deceased, although they would be here to speak. They do have the covenants and all the information of what they were promised from it being Franklin County into the annex. And I can find those and provide them at a later date. I can tell you that recently a wreck occurred, and a Corvette was speeding, did not stop at the stop sign, and hit a truck with 2 children in it. So that's not just me saying it's a safety issue. No, it actually happened, and it can be looked up through PD records. My children play there. One is a runner and one is autistic. And when that happened, I was called immediately because neighbors thought it was my children that had gotten hit. My property is also a certified wildlife habitat, and that's been very important to me and my neighbors. So we've got safety issue, we've got wildlife issue, we've got a water issue. We're going on about water rights. Do we have enough water for all of this plots? I don't think so. I'm a 3rd generation farmer of the Columbia Basin Project of 1951. And all the farmers know we do not have enough water as is. So you don't have these little issues, you've got these big issues. I also bought a home on 907 Road 51 in a cul-de-sac. The reason I chose the cul-de-sac is to keep the children safe and my licensed daycare children safe. Probably I was about 23, so 40 now. Now Sylvester has been determined to be unsafe, so they are doing all the construction work there, which is close to these proposed housing. When we talk about housing, we are all talking about affordable housing. These aren't going to be affordable. There's not a lack of housing, there's a lack of affordable housing. And there's designated areas for that, not there. So I wish I could come up with a compromise, a middle ground. I don't have that for you today, but I agree with all my neighbors, which I did not receive notification. I received it through the Nextdoor app about 2 to 3 days before this meeting, and that's basically all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for coming in.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hello, I'm ready.
Your name and address, please?
My name is Heidi Witt. My address is 1015 Road 56, Pasco, Washington.
And WHITT?
Correct.
All right, I'll have you raise your right hand for me. And do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. What would you like to tell me?
All right, thank you. So I sent you or Mr. Hattori a couple of pictures today from the bus stop. Our students' last full day of school, they were out there at 6:47. It's time stamped. I know all those children's names because I teach them at middle school, as does my husband. As a reference, I see Aiden, one of our high schoolers, walking down the road, and every time he's walking in front of me, I know I'm a little late because he's scooting as far side so I can get through while I'm not speeding, but still trying to get to work on time. I know both bus drivers that drive down our street, and each time they drive down, I have to pull as far over as I can, and they wave to me and I wave to them. So the safety issue of the narrow road is a really big concern to me. Another concern is like the nervousness I feel for these 3-acre plots that are in our area when I'm looking at them right now and how we're determining how we're going to be using this. The transparency of trying to find what this zoning means and what that language is not easy. I have a master's degree in education. I've taught for 26 years, but trying to work through this, I almost need to be a lawyer similar to you just to kind of figure my way through this. And it is difficult. It is not easy. It is not transparent. We talk a lot about time and place in school. I don't think this is the place for this unit, these 20 units to be built on this street. I think there might be a place for that, and this is definitely not the time for that. I'm concerned about the precedent that this may set for other acreage around. My other concern is in March when they had the zoning vote. I think it was Mr. Allen Brothers, who's lived in our community for 30 years. He was the only one that showed up, and he stated, "I'm very concerned. I know my neighbors would show up." Well, we showed up tonight because I don't think that 300 feet notice was sufficient. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
I'm ready.
Your name and address?
Julie Stadelman, address 6705 West Wernet Road, Pasco, Washington.
How do you spell your last name?
Stadelman.
Oh, I think I got it. Raise your right hand for me. Would you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
What would you like to tell me?
I would just like to tell you, I don't live on Road 56. I live on Wernet Road. And when I bought there, I lived, we bought in a half-acre unit. We lived in the donut hole. We were told when the donut hole moved from Franklin County to the city of Pasco, they were going to try to maintain at least half-acre lots as they built throughout the donut hole to maintain the type of residential area that we were moving into. The area across the street from me, I have many open lots. One of them had pigs. It now has townhomes on it. One of the other ones was just an open field that had horses. It now has apartments on it. They're now putting a roundabout in down near me. The place that they're going to build these townhomes on had horses on it. These were the kind of places people moved to build their dream homes. Many of the people that I live near, they can't move. They've grown up there. They've built the house that they wanted to live in, and now they're older, and they can't leave these areas. I feel like it's the city's responsibility to protect these areas so that every field that is open right now in these areas don't turn into townhomes. I'm not opposed to building. I just think that half-acre lots would make a lot more sense than townhomes and apartments in these areas. Thank you.
Thank you.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Your name and address, please.
Bill Weber, Webber, 5612 West Marie, Pasco.
All right, sir, I'll have you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give today will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. What would you like to tell me?
I would like to explain that from Road 56 to Road 60, there are no westbound arterials at all. So all of that traffic that comes from Road 54 to Road 56 has to come down Road 56 to get to Argent or Sylvester and Court Street. So you're draining a lot of traffic onto Road 56, and Road 56 is only 16 to 18 feet wide, and it is not capable of handling another housing development of 20 lots. And another thing, on the zoning deal, when you have a 300-foot resident radius in Riverview, it's not enough because that doesn't cover all of the houses that are impacted in that area. I mean, 300 feet is a 9-iron, 100 yards, football field. And we've got half-acre lots. It doesn't cover all of the people that are impacted by this. That's it.
Thank you very much.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hi, my name is Christina Vanderscore.
Okay, I need some spellings on these.
Okay, Christina with a K, Kristina, and Vanderscore, Vander, capital SCHOOR.
All right. Would you raise your right hand for me? And do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. And what would you like to tell me?
I did not get notice of this either until just like a week ago, and I don't think I am within 300 feet of the property, but that definitely does not mean that I am not affected and my kids won't be affected by this. So I guess that's my first point, that whoever or whatever thing it is that says it's only 300 feet that should get notification, that really needs to be looked into if you want to actually notify people that are affected by these changes in their neighborhoods. So I live at 5509 West Marie, which is right down where they're talking about the skinniest part of that 56 is. Both of my kids have walked to the bus. I have a niece that's with me that she will be starting kindergarten, probably be walking to the bus soon too. My parents-in-law bought this house when it was built in 1978. I got it from them, so it has been in the family for years and years. I just want to be on record to say that all of the points that are made tonight are very valid and very real. And there's just a huge community that is impacted by this. And it doesn't just stop when it's approved or when the construction goes. Like people were bringing up, I mean, it's going to have to expand. All this development will have to expand to all the other roads around there, to all of Sylvester, all the way down. Honestly, I don't even know if this passes how they're even going to get construction vehicles to the area to build the stuff because it's so small. But yeah, so I just want to be on record and say that this is a really bad idea and a really bad place. Thank you.
Thank you.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Okay, I'm ready.
Your name and address?
My name is Kathy Witt. My address is 5521 West Brown Street.
All right, would you raise your right hand for me? And do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
Yep.
All right, thank you. What would you like to tell me?
Okay, so, we did not get notification either. Notification policy of this whole thing is, like everyone has said, is really bad. Second of all, we're on the corner of Brown and 56. So we are exactly one block in from Court Street. Right now, if you follow west down Court Street, they have signs that have been placed by the police telling people to please slow down because the speed limit is 40. That does not have, we can hear the traffic from our house on Court Street. We hear sirens, we hear fast cars all the time buzzing up and down that street. Then they turn and come down 56 to get to Sylvester. That's part of the problem. The other part is where there is another development similar to this, and my husband and I drove through it the other night, and he walked it off and saw that the lots are similar to the size that they're proposing here, is up on Argent and 68. those houses at least are off of major arterial roads that have 4 lanes. They also have an exit going out onto Argent, another exit going out onto 68, and the roads in between, where those townhomes are, in between the townhomes, the front of each townhome is wide. They're not small like our roads are in our area. Okay, so we've been talking about infrastructure. We've been talking about what needs to be happening. We don't feel, as the existing residents, at least I don't, as an existing resident here, that I need to widen the road next to me because Mr. Ochoa wants to build 20 townhomes. If he wants to build the 20 townhomes, I feel it is on him to make it safe, to make it viable, to do it in a way that he is not impacting our neighborhood, where we live, where our children live, where our parents live. I think that he needs to do more than what he's proposing. And I think if the city was gonna, this donut hole thing, we were not in that part. We just moved there 5 years ago. But if they were gonna promise people things, then they need to make sure that it's going to happen. And they need to make sure there is no other access road in or out of this property except that Margaret Street that he's proposing, and it goes in, it does not go out. And Castle Harley, who's also there, that goes out, but they both go out onto 56. They do not go through to 60. They do not go through to any other access road in and out of this development. And I think that's very dangerous. You're allowing people to go into this development and out of the development, both onto 56, which we've all said is way too small. Okay? So either, and by denying him to put 6 properties on here or 9 properties, why? I know we're not supposed to ask questions, but I want to know why. When the rest of our homes are all that size. I don't see why he's being told to put 4,000 square foot lots instead of half acre or third of an acre even. 4,000 or 3,700 square foot lots is ridiculous. Okay? So that's my, if you have any say so in this, Mr. Examiner, in stopping this, or at least making him change it, or make him change conditions to make it safe for all of us that are already there and living there. If this was your home, think about it. I hope that you make the right decision in making him change the conditions, change the plot sizes, do something different than this, and not approve it the way it is. That's all I have to say.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Paloma Mendez. It's spelled Paloma, last name Mendez.
Have you raised your right hand for me, and do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. What would you like to tell me?
So I moved here a year ago from Othello, Washington, and I went, I guess how people say bar hopping, I went house hopping. And if I wanted to live next to, I guess, townhomes that they're trying to build, I did not know this until Sid, I don't know if he's still here. Yep. My neighbor came over on my Ring camera and told me this is what they're trying to do. I didn't get notified. I've been living here for, like I said, for a year. I moved over from Othello, and I had a bigger home than what I had here. The thing is that I see a bunch of children when I go to school. I work at Pasco School District as well, and these roads are terrible. 56, I don't even like to drive it because I don't even want to watch out for kids because of how small it is. And you're going to try to put all these townhomes in, which I'm pretty sure I have 2 kids, 4 cars in my house. All these townhomes will have like maybe 15 cars, I believe. So to me, the way that if I wanted to live next to townhomes, I would have bought on Burns Road, I believe. I haven't been here that long. But there are a lot of homes that are already empty that people can move into. I'd rather have 10 homes in this area than have 20 and have all this traffic. I moved to 802 Road 57 Court because it was a smaller community area there. There's less houses and it's quiet. I didn't want to live somewhere where there's a lot of homes and a lot of traffic and not safety. My kids are teenagers, but I still care for their safety. So I just want to make sure that if you guys are trying to put something like this there, that it's smaller lot, or not smaller lots, but bigger lots, less homes than what you are trying to do here. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hello,
Yes, your name and address, please.
William Young, 1605 Road 56.
All right, sir, I'll have you raise your right hand for me, and do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. What would you like to tell me?
I guess I'm just going to echo some of the same stuff that's already been said, but what we're looking at is a plan, and that's what you guys don't have is a plan, or it would show all of 56 getting widened out and set up so it can handle the traffic. You're going to drop people's home values. You're stealing money out of their pocket. I've lived in West Pasco for 35 years, between 56 and 44. And what you guys are trying to do is just going to ruin the neighborhoods. And I'm all for Mr. Ochoa developing. I mean, you guys robbed him of his opportunity to build a nice development with half-acre lots, which you wanted to do in the beginning. I live right across from a subdivision that just went in, half-acre lots. There's 27 of them. Great. Good neighbors, nice houses, love it. This stuff, go put it up by the apartments up on Burns Road, you know, up by the sand dunes. We don't need this in our neighborhood. We need nice half-acre lots, nice houses, because that's why everyone bought the homes that they have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to admit Miss Petrie if you're ready.
Ms. Petrie, did you wish to offer any testimony? I can't hear her still.
Can I show her a camera? Okay. Miss Petrie, we can't hear you. Are you by chance muted on your computer? Oh. She can't hear us either.
Well, this isn't going to be solved right now. I'll leave the record open to allow her to make a written comment when we conclude with the rest of the public testimony. Is there anybody else in the room that wishes to testify?
Yes, Mr. Examiner.
Ready.
Your name and address, please.
Harlan, Harlan. Last name Scherer, Scherer. Excuse me.
SCHUR.
SCHERER.
All right, thank you very much. I'll have you raise your right hand for me, and sir, do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
It's the truth.
Thank you very much. What would you like to tell me?
I'm damn proud of my neighbors.
Yeah. You're not going to do that, or I'm going to stop the hearing right now. You got testimony and facts to testify to, sir? That would be great.
That's it. Thank you.
That's all he had to say, Mr. Examiner. A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Okay, I am here. My name is Deborah Lozier, spelled L-O-Z as in zebra, I-E-R, and we live at 1021 Road 56 in Pasco.
What was your first name?
Deborah, D-E-B-R-A.
All right, I'll have you raise your right hand for me, and do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much.
All right, I am a mom like the other ones that have come up to talk tonight, and we purchased our home in April of '98, so we were there through the donut hole annexation as well. We did receive the letter and the notice that we were promised that these lots or our way of life in this area wouldn't change, that the lots coming in would be about half acre. So I wanted to attest to that. And the problem with the traffic on Road 56, that school bus stop used to be right in front of our house, right next to the fire hydrant. And we see kids there every morning and every afternoon. So I do see the cars that come through there, and I do believe that an extra 20 homes with those vehicles would be a big concern and safety hazard for those kids. And that is all I'd like to say.
Thank you.
Mr. Examiner, if a member of the public would like to speak a second time, is that okay?
No.
A member
Is
of the
there
public?
anybody else who hasn't spoken that wishes to speak?
Yes, Mr. Examiner, a member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hello, Mr. Examiner. My name is Melissa
Yes, your name?
Barajas. It's B as in Bravo, Arajas. I live at 1020 Road 56.
All right, one more time. I kind of got lost there with the background noise. Your first name is Heather?
No, it's Melissa, Melissa. Last name Barajas, Barajas.
All right, got it. Will you raise your right hand for me now? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. What would you like to tell me?
I have been a resident of Road 56 since 2005 when my husband and I purchased our home. It was built, I believe, in the early to mid 60s. We were there at the time where the residents of Road 56 and the rest of the donut hole were vehemently against annexation into the city for precisely this reason. We knew that it was only a matter of time before developers would come in and change the character of our neighborhood. I'm not anti-development. I believe that it is important to provide homes for people. I know that Pasco is a quickly growing area. I understand that. However, I do want to echo the earlier sentiments that it is ludicrous that Mr. Ochoa's petition for half-acre lots was denied by the city. That is absolutely ludicrous to me. The current proposal is a monstrosity and would completely change the character of our neighborhood, which we were promised before annexation that character would be preserved. It's very troubling to know that if the city does not keep their word upon annexation, what else will they not keep their word on? And that's the point I was trying to make. Thank you.
Thank you.
A member of the public is approaching the podium.
Hello, are you ready?
Yes.
My name is Billy Witt. I live at 5521 Brown Street, right on the corner of Brown and 56th.
All right, I'll have you raise your right hand for me, and do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury any testimony you give tonight will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. So what would you like to tell me?
So, I'm outside all the time. I get to see all the traffic. I think all the neighbors always see me out. I don't know how many wrecks we've had on the exit streets, as well as especially coming down Court, because when they come down from the park south, coming north from Sylvester, sometimes they're going about 70 miles an hour, honestly. And sometimes they don't stop at Court Street. Sometimes they run the stop sign. Was it 2 Christmases ago, I think we had a big wreck because somebody blew the stop sign. But the other thing is I've played dodgeball on that street a lot, walking my dogs, just trying to get down the street. And then one of my neighbors just brought to my attention that the street was actually deemed unsafe for buses, that it didn't meet the criteria to have a bus on it. But because we needed to have a bus stop in that area, that's why we still provide busing on that street. It's actually too narrow. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Any other members of the public who wish to speak tonight? Okay, Mr. Examiner, it doesn't appear there's anyone in the room with more commentary.
All right. Is there anything further from staff?
No, sir.
Is there anything further from the applicant, Mr. Ochoa?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right. What I want to do is I am going to close the public record portion of the hearing at this time. As with the other matters we had on the agenda, I will have my written decision made within the next 10 working days. I wish I could have seen everybody, but I did listen and take notes on your testimony. I do appreciate all the members of the public that have come out tonight to provide their testimony. It is a very emotional issue for you. It's not an emotional issue for me. I have to take facts and make findings of facts and apply those facts to the law. So I just need to let you all know that as we move forward. But in any event, I do appreciate everybody coming out and providing their testimony. There are no other items that are on tonight's agenda. So I'm now going to adjourn this June 12th, 2024 meeting of the City of Pasco Hearing Examiner. Everybody have safe trips home and have a good night. This meeting's adjourned.